Hey guys, it's episode 27 of Words Are Tough. My name is Jose Rodriguez and I'm here with my co-host
David Diokendo.
And we are back with the second episode since the break.
Yes.
This will be the dark ages of our podcast, that little break. But we have some wonderful things in store for you involving some of the stuff that we've been watching, some commentary, and you said you wanted to start off with
Ridley Scott. And the whole break as in we didn't record for like a good 2 months. But yeah, Ridley Scott, I felt hurt in my heart. He's kind of blaming, he is blaming millennials on why The Last Duel, which by the way is an awesome film, did so poorly in the box office.
Yeah.
And I felt but I saw it and I liked it. But in this article, it says Ridley Scott blames millennials who were brought up. I wonder if you can hear that. I think you can.
Yeah, it's low.
Really,
it sounds a lot louder to us.
Yeah, Ridley Scott blames millennials who were brought up on these cell phones, in quotes, for The Last Duel's box office failure. So in a way, he's blaming millennials that use their phones on why this film did so poorly in the box office. It was not a bad movie. I mean, I saw it and you saw it.
Yeah,
it's actually pretty good.
I really liked it.
I'm going to quote him. The bosses loved the movie because I was concerned it was not for them, but they really liked the movie, so their advertising, publicity, etc. was excellent. I disagree, but let's continue. I think what it boils down to, what we've got today are the audiences who were brought up on these, can I curse? On these fucking cell phones. I'm quoting him. He said on a comedian Mark Maron's podcast, WTF. He continues, the millennials... Actually, let me not continue. Let's stop right there and then I'll finish his quote. Wondering, did you see any publicity or advertisements for The Last Duel?
That's something that really struck me because really I didn't. I saw maybe one commercial where I saw Matt Damon dressed up like a knight, and I'm like, that, but I didn't even it's not like I saw it and I was like, oh, The Last Duel that's coming out, that's right, I was just like, what is that? Yeah.
So I saw the trailer for Last Duel the first and only time was when I saw the film The Green Knight, which also didn't do that well, and I saw it with my wife and she's like, oh, that's interesting. I was like, that's a pretty interesting film, I want to see that. Didn't see any advertising or publicity or anything. The only time I did was when I actually had to search for it, The Last Duel, and then the algorithm, the almighty algorithm, which, by the way, like and subscribe and comment for the almighty algorithm. Then I got a few videos or links here and there, but I haven't, am I looking at my TV 24/7? When I was 10 years old, no. But I don't know how you can blame millennials, because we love films. I actually go out of my way to actually watch films at the theater. But maybe I'm the outlier. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't get that.
I don't get it.
Times change, and when he was younger, I'm sure there was a bunch of older generations blaming people for rock music and all the things,
yeah.
I just, it's weird that he would do that, just knowing that, he probably caused a lot of that himself when he was younger.
Yeah, and was he 84? He was born before, mind you, I'm not an ageist or age bashing or age shaming. He was born before World War II, okay? So there you go. He writes, he says, the millennial, as in we're some sort of, monolith, the millennial do not ever want to be taught anything unless you're told it on the cell phone. This is a broad stroke, but I think we're dealing with it right now with Facebook. Facebook is mad old, dude. There is a misdirection that has happened where it's given the wrong kind of confidence to this latest generation, I think, he added. I don't really... First of all, Facebook is predominantly for much older people. I think Gen X and above pretty much hijacked Facebook. Facebook is mostly like people in like the mid to late 40s and above. It's mostly for moms and dads.
Yeah, Facebook groups kind of dominated now. You know what? People mostly have their Facebooks, available for marketplace too.
Yeah, so I mean, at least my experience, the people that are predominantly on Facebook, and this is why like Instagram and other platforms like TikTok and at one point way back when Vine came up, because they didn't like the fact that they were sharing a space with their parent. Like, at least based on my memory, it did feel kind of odd when my mom like friended me on Facebook. Like, okay, sure. My dad was like, nope, block. But so our first sponsor is Nbox. Give your home-based business its own mailroom. View your open and scan mail from an encrypted app. Have it forwarded, held for pickup, or shredded and recycled. We'll even include a commercial business address to protect your privacy. Visit www.nboxdelivers.com to see more.
And for our next sponsor, we have Premier Rank Marketing. They can help you out if you have a business, whether it's selling stuff online or you have a brick and mortar location, restaurants, gyms. The company's helped so many people during the pandemic grow their online presence. So if you need any help from social media to Facebook targeting campaigns, Google, LinkedIn, and all the other, even TikTok, they do TikTok ads. Just reach out to Premier Rank Marketing and let them know that WordsrTough sent you, and they'll hook you up with a huge discount. Our third sponsor here, we have Worldwide Solutions, located in Clifton. They do taxes, travel, and insurance. Any type of business needs you have. They can even, give you a good direction to go if you need some payroll services, things like that. And definitely check them out. Their info is right below. And our fourth sponsor is Rick's Barbershop in Garfield, New Jersey. If you have a important date coming up, you're going to a wedding, things like that, you're going to be photographed, definitely check them out. They're the most precise barbers in the area, and they'll definitely hook you up if you tell them WordsrTough sent you. Jose and David just mention those names, and they'll be like, no problem, right away. We'll hook you up. We just want to say thank you to all of our sponsors, and back to the show.
But yeah, I think you don't know who millennials are. I think he is kind of directing this to like, I don't know, Generation Y. Like,
yeah, I think I don't know. It's like one of those like get off my lawn moments,
Yeah, like that one movie with Clint Eastwood, Get Off My Lawn. But yeah, it just seems like I don't think you even know who millennials are, and two, you need to meet your audience where they're at. Like, that's how I view it. Like I remember Dave Chappelle. Like I remember when he just took a break with comedy. He just went to he went to like, not Times Square, Journal Square or something like that. And then he just kind of just stood on top of a fountain and just started doing comedy. Like you can't just be like, well, this is the norm and it's gonna stay this way all the time. And if people don't do it, then it's their fault. I have no clue, but you need to meet your audience where they're at. If your audience is predominantly on their phone, then meet them there. If you want people to see it.
And if anything, like if you didn't make the media, I would say medium, I guess, right?
Medium.
Yeah, make the medium for that specific group. Like, why would you be upset at them that they didn't show up for it? You should be upset at like your own age group and slightly below that, who are the ones that usually show up for that type of movie and in the box office, like they're the ones that didn't show up.
And I know, I guess you can call baby boomers and such. Like, in my opinion, I feel like that's a generation that doesn't want to go anywhere. They want to stay home, and they don't want to go to the movies anymore.
And they want to listen to their police CB radio.
I mean, I don't know. Everyone that I spoke to. Granted, I'm in my 30s, but I mean, I have friends, much older than me and some younger than me, but a lot of my friends that are much older than me are surprised that I still go to the movies. I actually like going to the theater. I actually get kind of bummed out that when a film goes straight to just Disney Plus or HBO or whatever, like I actually prefer to see movies like in the theater itself. Or I guess I think they're having a deal or creating some sort of deal where movies have to be in the theater for like X amount of time, like 21 days or something like that. And then after that, then you can go into like straight to streaming. But at least from my understanding, people that are much older than me prefer to see things in their comfort of their own favorite chair or couch.
You just gave me an idea.
Sure.
We were talking about virtual reality the last episode.
Yeah.
Maybe I should build a virtual reality theater where you're by yourself, like sitting in the best seat,
or with other people.
And you can have virtual people too.
Virtual people.
And but you can put any movie you want in that theater.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and then you could watch it, and it almost feels like you're in the theater, you know. And then you have headphones on, so like
make sure you copyright that before we put this episode out. But yeah, I felt like some sort of way because like there's a bunch of films like The Duelist, Alien, Blade Runner, Legend, Thelma and Louise, Gladiator, like there's so many great movies. I'm like, I love your movies, dude. Why are you shitting on me? I'm taking personal offense to this. But yeah, it's just a really weird attack when, similar to what you talked about Bob Saget last episode, like I grew up watching your films. Like, what? I'm talking about. Am I still gonna watch Ridley Scott films? Of course, he's a great director, but I think he's a bit of a jerk. This is just my opinion. But speaking of The Last Duel, I mean, you saw it. What were your thoughts on it? It was
without giving too many spoilers.
I think I might spoil it, but go ahead.
So this is your warning.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna spoil The Last Duel.
I like how they did. You know how they in other movies they've used that technique where it's like it kind of shows the
different perspectives.
The different perspectives, but like they filmed the same scene multiple times. I like that a lot. I think one of the things that popped in my head was they definitely oversold that the Matt Damon, Ben Affleck like rejoining for a film type of thing. They don't really share the screen at all.
Yeah. Maybe like one scene.
I would say this was like an Adam Driver and Matt Damon vehicle.
For sure.
You know, like, and the actress was very good in it too. She was great.
I'm actually going to Google her name just to give her credit. Yeah. She was great in that film. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't remember the name, but she's from something else too. I think she was in not Game of Thrones, but it might have been Game of Thrones.
Jodie Comer?
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, she did a great job. She was really good.
Or Comer? Yeah.
Yeah. And the movie was great. I would recommend seeing it. There are some trigger warnings in that movie, so, you know, definitely.
There's just straight up scenes.
Yeah. So it's.
Am I allowed to say that on YouTube?
I don't know. I can bleep it out.
Bleep that out. They're blank.
Right now, I only have a chicken noise, so I got to find a new noise. I can't use that over.
There scenes.
So, yeah, I got to find the new noise.
It's not for kids.
Yeah, so definitely. But, you know, these are the types of movies that I think it would have been even better in the theater. And I saw it at home, you know?
I saw it at home as well, sadly. Yeah. I wanted to see it in the theater, but in AMC, they did have a huge, like, banner of The Last Duel. So they did advertise it, but not as much as they claim. Like, I don't know what they spend their money on. But
banner is so boomer style, though. You know, like they had to like spend the money on some ads.
Oh yeah, is okay boomer still like a phrase?
Oh
to say?
yeah.
Is that still a thing?
Yeah,
I mean, I liked the film so much on the fact that there's 3 different perspectives, all I guess you can say sincere to that character. Of course, they make it obvious on whose side is a real story. But I will say this. I mean, the reason why I say this is because it's a true story, as in it is an event that actually happened. And actually read about that's so New Jersey. I don't know if you heard that. I call it a farting motorcycle because it just sounds like it's farting. What I was saying. But what I like about the film is that it provides all the nuances, and the acting is amazing, and the clothing is like the overall top to bottom, left to right. It's a great film. But what I like the most about it is that they made even the bad guy. You're somewhat sympathetic because there's a scene, and this is a spoiler warning for you. So if you don't like it, skip to, I don't know, fast forward in 5 minutes. But there's a scene where he talks, Adam Driver talks to Ben Affleck, and he asks him, like, so where are you from? Like, and he pretty much says, I'm an orphan. I was raised in like squalor, and I guess in lack of a better word, pulled myself up by the bootstraps. So he kind of adopted or learned etiquette, how to treat people in like the worst conditions, where he just sees people backstabbing each other and, you know, sexual advances and being aggressive. Like, that's, to him, that was his norm. So when he does these things, you're like, it is his fault because he is doing these things, but you're like, but that's what he knows. But to him, that's like the norm. That's like, even when he's approached by Ben Affleck later on, he's like, dude, what the hell? He literally says, what the hell, dude? And he's like, no, but she did the customary nose, the customary this or that. And at that moment, I almost cried because, like, oh my God, like, how much of certain behaviors is like, I guess, like a better word, it's toxic, but it's so normal that you don't even think about it. So even at the end, he still retains his innocence, because in his head, it's like, but I didn't do it. To him, he legit didn't do anything wrong.
And they play on that a little bit too, because when they show his point of view on, I guess, the real, which would be considered his POV. Yeah. There are scenes where you can see her looking at him from afar.
The way he perceived
it. But the thing is, she did really look at him like that, but the way he thought it was like in an advanced way.
Yeah, the way he interpreted the look was not in a good... Like, she wasn't intending to be in any way provocative, but the way he interpreted the look was like, he thought, oh, she wants me.
But little did he know, when they do her reel and her point of view, she's actually like ripping him about how he's such a garbage person.
Yeah, she actually hates
she's
him.
Smiling because he's there, so she doesn't want it to look like an angry face while she's talking about it.
She's giving him a polite, insincere smile, and he takes it as like, oh, I think she likes me.
And it was really like her just being like, oh, I don't want him to know I'm talking BS about him, you know?
Yeah. I mean, in the movie, it's obvious the woman's point of view is the accurate, honest, is the truth.
Yeah.
But it's like, in the Matt Damon character, like in his POV, he thinks he's like the best husband ever. Like, he's like, I'm like the best, but in reality, like, he's as much of a, I guess, like a piece of shit as the Adam Driver character. Yeah, even when I know I'm just giving away the whole movie, but whatever. But even the scene where the wife tells him, he gets aggressive towards her.
Yeah, and him, he's more of a, I would say, like a prisoner of the moment. I guess the era instead of the moment, you know, like, I guess in that era that like
he's a product of his time.
Yeah, and then he even says it towards the end, which is horrible when we think about it from today's perspective, but like that he even supported her in court was like some kind of like landmark thing.
It's like, it's like dad saying, I take care of my kids, you're supposed to take care of your kids. It's like, I supported you, like you're supposed to support her, you're the husband. But he said it like it was some sort of like reward, like I'm doing such an amazing thing.
But I think the reason he did it was because nobody does.
No one does
in
that
time, you know. So like, it's almost like when you like look back and like, let's say if we parlay it over to like race, you know, like not so long ago in this country there were like laws, you know, that were like, against colored people.
You couldn't drink from the same, you know, water fountain and bathroom, and
so that's like people pulling up like someone's grandpa saying some racial slurs or something. It's like that was like the world.
Like, I had dinner with a black guy once. Like, so like, what does that mean? But in the context of that time, that's a big deal. Or was a big deal. But I do encourage. I mean, even though I pretty much spoil the whole film, I guess the reason why I don't know how you feel about spoilers, but for me, spoilers don't spoil the film for me. How about you?
It depends on what it is, you know, like that is said.
like for me, well, one, I knew of the event because I took a ethics class in college. Did it help me? I don't know, but that was a topic of discussion. Did it help me be more ethical? I don't know, maybe. But that was a thing about like whose sides, what side is the truth? Is it okay? Is this way of dealing with finding the truth like ethical? Like just because a person wins in a fight doesn't make them like right or wrong. Like, that's not the best way to figure out like who's right based on who wins in a fight, because we both know that winning in a fight doesn't make you right or wrong. It's just you're just better at fighting.
Yeah. Yep.
It doesn't. But it was a pretty good class, and which mentioned this event, and I'm happy that Ridley Scott made it. But dude, your advertisement sucks. It's just terrible. But speaking of movies with advertising, Spider-Man 4, or actually Spider-Man No Way Home, had amazing advertisement, like crazy good advertisement. I think, and also Tom Holland is very, I guess, personable and friendly, and he's a good guy. I mean, honestly, he seems like the type of guy I kind of want to hang out with. And
was this his second Spider-Man film?
What did I say? 4? Oh, I meant 3. It's Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man no, yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, and then Spider-Man No Way Home. I did say Spider-Man 4. That's messed up. It's all Tom Holland.
Okay, that's because I saw an article that was saying how he may or may not return for the next one. And I'm like, I didn't see the other two though. But
you didn't see the first two?
No, I just saw the only one I saw was this one.
What? That makes no sense.
I didn't know there were the other two, so I would have probably checked those out first.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't think it takes away from the first two. I mean, it might give you even more context and depth on this movie. But pretty much, it took them 2 whole films to get to his, I guess you can say, with great power comes great responsibility quote. Because usually in the Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire films, that was like the first scenes, like the whole with great power comes great responsibility. It took them almost 2 whole films just to get to that point, or 3 whole films just to get to that point. So in a way, it's a where those films kind of start is like where this film ends, where he's in like living in squalor and by himself. No one knows who he is, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Which is a great way to end a trilogy, but also leave it kind of open to like more. But Tom Holland did say he doesn't see himself playing Spider-Man into his 30s. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how old he is. What, 26? 25? I have no clue.
Yeah, I think maybe he could do one more.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Do one more. Yeah, you know what's crazy? What I didn't realize, I don't want to give any spoilers. Or are we going to spoil this one too? Is this a spoiler episode?
I'll try my best not to spoil this film.
Okay. All right, so you know what? Maybe I won't spoil it, but this is what I'll say. From the Andrew Garfield years, I don't remember that Emma Stone didn't make it in those films, like.
Yeah, she dies.
I don't remember that. And I remember seeing those because, Andrew Garfield, I was a fan of his from The Social Network. Mm-hmm. And, so I was like, oh, let me give this a shot. And he was pretty good. I liked him as a Spider-Man. And Emma Stone was good, too, so I'm like.
Yeah.
But I remember she died.
She plays Gwen Stacy. Yeah. She dies in the second one, I believe. But, yeah, the No Way Home is definitely I think is a must-watch. Again, do I think let's compare contrast, like the last Duel, overall better acting, the story is way more compelling, and it's overall, even the costumes are great, but when it comes to comic book movies, I mean, I'm kind of nostalgic towards comic book movies. I'm not sure why older people, let's just throw Ridley Scott in there. Or what's the guy that only makes like mafia movies?
Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, Scorsese. Why they hate like comic book movies so much. When the person that made these characters, or persons rather, Stanley didn't make just one, but a bunch of people like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko. If you don't know who Jack Kirby is or Steve Ditko is, look it up. They're like, without them, there is no Marvel, for the most part. But these guys were like your peers for the most part. You know, maybe like 10 years older than. So I'm thinking like these guys grew up with reading comic books. Why don't they love comics? I don't get it. Like, are you just jealous? That I don't know. I can't figure it out because a lot of these characters were from their time for the most part.
I think it is some form of jealousy because it's almost like, let's say, if you're like I'll think of it as music, like if you're like some kind of like blues singer that's really good, and then you have this guy who sings like punk rock, like you know what I mean,
Limp Bizkit.
Like they're they're gonna be like, that artist is always gonna be like, damn, I want that. You know, that deepness,
or I had that
deepness or purpose to your lyrics and songs and music. Then the other guys like, I just you know, they rock way harder than you live, and I don't have that energy.
Yeah,
you know, like,
they're just singing about chocolate starfish or something.
Yeah,
like that.
and they might hate each other because they really just covet what each other has. You know what I mean? And maybe Scorsese felt cut out. You know.
Or don't just make mafia films, or you know, broaden your horizons. I have no clue, but I mean, obviously he makes more than mafia films. Don't come at me in the comments, but I'm being hyperbolic. But
please do come at us in the comments.
get married and find your significant other. Hope your Valentine's was awesome. By the time this comes out, it's probably way past Valentine's. This is the best time to have an episode right now with all these trains. This is so Garfield. Yeah. But what was I gonna say? But yeah, when it comes to these sort of characters, like now they have Moon Knight coming out. Moon Knight is they kind of make fun of Moon Knight. They call him like the Batman of the Marvel universe. You know, even though he's nothing like Batman. Like these sort of characters I kind of grew up reading about, so it's in a way it's kind of nostalgic, but it's just really bizarre that these characters are fairly old, like back in the 80s and 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
That older people that are older than me, 10, 20 years older, wouldn't find these movies interesting. I don't know why. You would think you would be, oh yeah, these characters I read about, awesome, you know. I think every episode there's always a time when I almost burp and I vomit in my mouth. But I think it's all the talking without actually like breathing.
Yeah.
You know.
I get some like sometimes chest pains from not burping, you know.
Yeah, you're trying to hold it in and you don't want to burp into the mic, but you have a thought, you want to keep like, you don't want dead air or anything like that. Yeah.
And I had a burrito earlier, so I didn't want to do that anymore, so.
But I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home, I do encourage you to watch the first two, and then this third one will make more sense.
Yeah.
And you also see their age, how they look not significantly, but almost like a Harry Potter kind of thing when you see like the first Harry Potters. I mean, obviously they're legit children, the first ones, but you see them grow up. So you'll notice they, like Zendaya and the guy that plays Ned, you'll see them look a little bit younger. Like you'll notice a little bit. Oh, their voice is a little bit different. Yeah,
that's the weird thing because right now, that show Euphoria is really popular, and Zendaya's in. Is that how you say her name? Zendaya.
I say Zendaya because Day, but it could be Zendaya.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm a teacher that never gets their students' names right, so
no, I think the way you say it is the way I hear it more often.
Zendaya.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
all right. I don't know.
I recently saw an episode of that show, and I had just watched Spider-Man the day before, and I'm like, didn't I just see this girl somewhere? And then I was like, but I didn't know of her from anything else before Spider-Man. So when I saw her, I'm like, I feel like this is a familiar person, but I don't, you know. And then
I like her because she has kind of like that face that seems very unapproachable. Sounds kind of weird. I don't want to say the resting,
yeah,
because she's not. obviously, I don't like saying that phrase, resting bitch face, because like it's I don't like calling people that name or that word, but I find that very flat, not flat, but a very like neutral face kind of attractive. It sounds kind of weird. I feel like people that smile too much creep me out.
So you know who has that, like the male version? I know the dude that was in The Notebook.
Oh, Ryan Gosling?
Ryan Gosling. Oh, yeah, he's like notorious for like not having
I had a man crush on Ryan Gosling for years.
Do you ever see, was it Drive?
Drive, yeah. Like, the guy has the best just straight, I mean, him and Blade Runner. Legit, like, if someone told me, listen, Ryan Gosling's actually an android, I'd be like, sure, of course he is. Like, he has the most, like, I guess, neutral face. Like, he doesn't look happy or mad. He just looks just very, I guess, neutral. Do I try to emulate that? Maybe subconsciously I try to do that, but yeah, that's what I like about Zendaya. Is just she's very good at just being straight. What's that? She's Puerto Rican, but she doesn't look Puerto Rican. She plays in the Parks and Rec. What's her name again? Parks and Rec. Very straight faced.
Aubrey Plaza.
Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah.
Aubrey Marcus is a completely different person.
Yeah, he's the guy from On It.
The On It, guy. Yeah, no, Aubrey Plaza. Yeah, she's actually Puerto Rican. Do you know that?
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we come in all different shapes and sizes and colors and all that. Yeah, when people say you don't look Puerto Rican, I'm like, Puerto Ricans don't have a look. I'm sorry. I mean, we don't. We're every little color in the rainbow. But yeah, Spider-Man's pretty good. You should watch it. Everyone should watch it. I don't think we spoiled anything.
No, but before we go away from Ryan Gosling, there's another guy that I just recently watched that gave him a run for his money. I forget his name. But he was in that movie. Did you see? It was like a movie about drums.
Movie? And, is it? Dang it! I know it's not
Whiplash. Yeah,
Whiplash.
Right?
There you go. Because I know the scene in my head. I just, but I don't even know the name of that actor.
Name of the actor, I'm getting it right now. But, Miles Teller.
Miles Teller.
Yeah, so he was in this show I just watched. By the way, I just want to throw this out there.
Euphoria?
No, it was ridiculous and it's amazing. I can't believe I haven't heard a lot of people that have watched this. But yeah, he's in the show that I watched, and it's about he's a police officer, and I don't want to give too much information away, but really amazing show.
I mean, I think you could give a little bit more than just he's a police officer.
He's a police officer, and he's got, let's say, he has some hidden urges, that he's not a good guy.
Okay, he's sus. He's suspicious, or
and it involves a cartel. It's called Too Old to Die Young.
Okay, there's actually that's
amazing.
There's a song called that from Django. It's the same lyrics, Django Unchained, but it's well, is it a show? Is it a movie?
It's a series, and I think it's a limited series, but it's I think 8 episodes.
HBO Max,
and it's I think it's on Amazon or Hulu, but I watched it on my Fire Stick, so I'm not really sure, and I have them all on there. So, but yeah, definitely.
Fire Stick is equal to the black box from the 90s,
yeah,
pretty much.
Yep,
it's the same thing, just a lot smaller. Yeah, I have a lot of my friends have the Fire Stick, and where do you watch it? I don't really know. I saw it on Fire Stick. I'm like,
the good thing about the Fire Stick, you could if you're traveling, I suggest bringing it with you.
Yeah, for sure.
When you're going to the hotel, because you got everything right there.
But I'm crossing out all my. I actually have to take notes now. But one film that I guess we'll just stick to the whole film thing that I was looking forward to watching, and it just completely, I legit think it ruined my week, believe it or not, is Matrix 4. Matrix 4. I keep saying it's not Revolution, not Resignation. It's Matrix Resurrections. You might as well just call it Matrix Resignation because it's not good. And I think if I just saw like just this film without like the previous films, which I don't even know is even possible, but hypothetically we could do that, I think I would have liked it more. But because I guess I kind of blame nostalgia, because I enjoyed the first film so I love the first. Second was third was actually pretty good. Because of those three films, I kind of expected this one to be like, okay, it's not gonna be like Keanu, like the young Keanu. I think it's gonna be a little bit different, obviously, because they're all older. But it just fell short. Like I waited for 2 hours for the movie to start, and it never really starts. In my opinion, it never actually starts. You just kind of just wait. Okay, when is it gonna start? And it never does. And then I don't want to give anything away, but you should watch it. But I'm not saying don't watch the film. I don't want to take money out of people's pockets, but watch it. But to me, it was just like where is the film? It's too meta, I think.
Yeah, I personally enjoyed the movie. I maybe had a little hard time dealing with the new characters that they incorporated. Mm-hmm. Also, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but the lack of Morpheus, the old version.
Yeah, he's not in it just because they didn't ask him to be in it.
Yeah,
not because of schedule things. I read an article that it's because they didn't ask Lawrence Fishburne. Yeah. Fishburne. Anyway, they didn't ask him. They just didn't ask him to be in it. There's something there.
I guess they saw something in the new actor that took his
likeness.
He doesn't. He kind of isn't him.
He's nothing like Morpheus in the first film.
But I know he assumes I guess in a way of he used to be like a computer file, mm-hmm. and becomes something else. Yeah, and then he's kind of that of Morpheus. Yeah. So
I mean, then that's case, then he did it well. That's like the goal or intent. But for me, it was more the one thing I'm trying my best not to spoil it. There's a part in the movie where you're in the Matrix. The Matrix isn't even real. You're all just ones and zeros. And he knows he's the one. Like he knows he's aware that the Matrix is a thing. But then why are you having a hard time breathing? Or why are you acting old? When you're
that's true.
Like if you're well aware that you're in a simulation, this is all fake. You're the one, your memory, you accept it again for the most part. There's a scene where they're fighting and he legit puts his hands on his knees like an old man. I'm like, but you're in the Matrix. It's not real. How are you tired? Like, I don't get that wasn't in the other movies. He was literally invincible. He could never get tired in the Matrix. He can fly. But somehow in this one, he just
I think they were trying to play, because did you see when they show him in the mirror?
Yeah, I mean, he's mad old.
Yeah, he's old.
He's an old guy.
But he doesn't see himself that way because he knows from the Matrix or whatever. But I think the thing is, even when you're unplugged from the Matrix, your brain still has to...
Or plugged in.
You know how, they trained him to finally, release himself, and then he does that whole jump or whatever?
Yeah.
He's still getting to that point.
I guess.
That's really, I guess, what they were trying to...
All he does is just Jedi Force push. Everything's just Jedi Force. They should have copywritten that. Can't they get sued for just everything being a Jedi push? A Force push? I don't know. But it was a film that I was really looking forward to. And I'm like, oh, it's happening. It's going to be And I mean, and the funny thing in the film, they talk about that. So I'm not completely oblivious to the fact that they mention the whole bullet time. Everything's bullet time. But it was more I get it. They kind of, for the first few, 20 minutes, they kind of just tell you, hey, everything that you're expecting in the film, this isn't that. And they kind of literally tell you black and white. They even mention Warner Brothers in the film.
Yeah. Which I thought was kind of they were life imitating art.
I literally did, I'm not joking, you can ask my wife, I literally did this. I just kind of just all right, we're gonna go straight meta with this, like, but when is the film starting? And it never does. It never starts.
What do you know Trinity's name?
The actress's name? No, Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher. Okay, she did a really good job of looking like she remembers something that happened, but she can't remember what it was.
Oh, I looked up Carrie Fisher, and it's a different person. Oh, 1 second. Continue talking.
Well, who's Carrie Fisher?
Some weird older lady. Not the person. I think. Why am I thinking Carrie Fisher? But continue. I want to do a quick search.
Yeah, I mean, she did a really good job of like.
I'm wrong. Carrie Ann Moss. I don't know where I get Carrie Fisher from. Carrie Ann Moss. I apologize.
Gotcha. Oh, Carrie Fisher, isn't that she was in Star Wars, no?
So that's Star Wars. I'm sorry.
Princess Leia.
That's Princess Leia. I apologize.
There you go.
No, but I didn't put Carrie. I put Carrie, Kerry, which is a completely different person.
But yeah, I mean, she did good. I really liked her performance. One thing I must say though, the ending really killed it for me. Even up to the scene where they like are in that room with the guy, but then it's like when they like fly away, that kind of like, I was like, all right. But I feel like they left it open if they wanted to make more, just depending how
they did. I mean, in a way, I kind of want the is it Lana? Is it her name's Lana Wachowski? Wachowski. I apologize if I said the name incorrectly, but I hope she makes a fifth one. Because it seems like it looks like you revamped or reignited or the series. Why not do a fifth one? I don't know. If they made a fifth one, I would actually watch it. Because the fourth one, I was just like, similar to, I guess, Spider-Man No Way Home, where the ending of Spider-Man No Way Home is actually the beginning of Spider-Man's story. Him as like a young adult, or him being Peter Parker that takes pictures and works for the Daily Bugle and etc. So it seems like they kind of restarted the series. I really do, and I tend to critique things the most that I actually really respect. I really hope that they make a Matrix 5 because of the, I guess you can say, odd open-ended ending. But the third one seems so absolute, like it finished and then he started it up again. So I don't know. I do want it to succeed, by the way. I don't want to, like, I just expected more from the film.
Yeah.
Maybe I should expect less, kind of like Yoda.
I feel like that movie was so perfect, right, in that time and like with technology. It was
the first one?
Yeah. The first one, it was just so perfect because like, technology wasn't so like far as in advance, like now I just feel like they got to really get creative to get that spark back from the first
of that.
Matrix,
wow, I mean, and there's so many things. I mean, and the Matrix is so in the culture now, like even like red pill, blue pill, like, like I think right-wing conservatives kind of bogarted, kind of stole the whole red pill thing.
Yeah.
I don't think they really know what that even means, because if you did, you say that. But so obviously the Matrix is like in the culture. There's so many like references in modern pop culture that is a direct reference to the first Matrix film. But yeah, I don't know. It's not. I mean, it's kind of one of those things. I just wish it was a little bit better.
Which pill would you take?
In the Matrix?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, well, do I like steak that much? I don't know. The thing is that it's a give and take. If you take the blue pill, you stay in the Matrix and you enjoy all of the illusions that it provides. And, the things that, even the whole virtual reality thing, like just if you feel it, if you have a moment, and this is me being an advocate of the blue pill right now, if you have a moment, whether it be a simulation or not, you still felt it. You still felt love or pain, or you still felt those feelings. So isn't that real?
And that's what most of like the advocates for the virtual reality VR chat, they're saying it's like a huge vehicle for therapy. You know, like people could go anonymous and talk about their issues and things that they want to work out. Where, for instance, like a lot of people who are like war veterans, they wouldn't feel comfortable speaking about certain things in public because they would be like dishonoring the government and things like that.
Yeah, you don't want to be like a word shamed for saying certain things. But like, so I'm not I mean, I think both are equally important decisions. But like, okay, for example, the whole steak thing, like the scene where what's that character that eats a steak? Like if your brain is firing off and telling your body that you're eating this thing and you taste it and you smell it, isn't that real? Yeah. So if I'm being lazy, I'll pick the blue pill. But if I want to be all heroic, I'll pick the red pill. Like, but at the same time, if you pick the red pill, you actually go into actual reality, like real life. But then you're eating slop and I don't know, not living the.
Yeah, I feel like if you're not Neo, like
if you're not Neo,
the red pill isn't worth it.
Yeah, if you're not Neo, like all right, you're just
maybe if you're Trinity, you know, maybe if you're Morpheus, but like if you're
just a side character, then I don't see the. Yeah, I mean. The Matrix is only cool if you take a red pill. The Matrix is only cool if you're Neo or Trinity or Morpheus, or if you can manipulate it in your way. But if you're just like, I don't know, if you're me, you wouldn't be like. You'd be like, I guess I'm just wearing rags and a potato sack and just eating slop. I don't know. Like, I mean, I'll just plug myself back in so I can try to fly. I don't know.
Do you know what's the weird thing about that? I always had this like weird sensation of what that liquor that they drank would taste like.
Oh,
you know, I don't know. For some reason, I felt like because they drank. It was like some kind of really hard moonshine type thing. You know, remember? And I just always get this like gasoline type kind of sensation. Like that's what it would probably taste like.
Possibly.
You know?
I think I don't want to romanticize. I mean, I'm trying to like root myself. Like if I actually had the decision, what would I pick? No different from I was just watching the Book of Boba Fett, but Jedi, like Star Wars Jedi. How a lot of people, they're like, yeah, being a Jedi is so cool. I can just swing this thing around. No, being a Jedi would suck. It would so badly. And I know this guy. He's a distant friend of mine or a person I know that he and his family all dress up like Jedi for Halloween all the time, or they cosplay and all that. And I'm like, yeah, but if you were a Jedi, you wouldn't have kids. You wouldn't have a spouse. You would just be a monk in some temple meditating all day. Just castrate yourself. You don't have a family. That's not a thing when you're a Jedi. You don't have pleasures or joy. You're just...
It's pretty easy to do that with the lightsaber, by the way.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, it's like, no, like, if you really were a Jedi... it would not be fun for you. You would be like, really? I can't like hang out with friends? Nope. You can't even have desires.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny, when I was younger, I wasn't big into Star Wars, but then when episode 1 was coming out, we like got obsessed and we learned everything about Star Wars, and we watched episode 1 and it was the best and it was great. And they had like the, you know, Darth Maul. I
thought Darth Maul was cool. I mean, I'll admit though, I can't tell if it was the character or the actor. I really didn't like Anakin Skywalker. I just thought he was just one of those like super smart kids in the front of the room that never shut up. To me, it just reminded me of one of those kids. Like the actually person, actually. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To me, Anakin Skywalker and even Luke Skywalker was kind of like bratty, like, dude, like, I used to do that when I was a kid. It was so easy. It's like, shut up, dude. Like, I don't know. He just seemed kind of bratty.
Yeah, it's funny. And, you know, I guess, like, you know, of course, Darth Vader, one of the most epic, like, villains of all time, you know. But at the same time, they didn't have that, like, evil, like, Darth Maul. Like, you know, this is the first, like, real like villain, like scary looking.
He legit looked like a demon.
Yeah, he looked like like an Insidious. You know that?
Yeah.
So, it was intense, but it started the whole what do they call them? The evil Jedi.
Oh, a Sith?
Siths, yeah, like the whole
like being a Sith is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, even though in the books like there's previous Siths and things like that lineage, but that was like the first real, But
exposure. I mean, in the comics, Darth Vader is pretty cool because there's a part in the comics that one person, I forget who it was, one person says, "You killed my father." Well, Vader says, "Who are you?" The person says, you killed my father. He's like, "I've killed many fathers. You need to be more specific." So I was like, that's pretty badass. That's pretty funny. But yeah, like what am I ranting about? Oh, romanticizing character, like things. But if you actually had the option to do it, the whole red pill, blue pill thing. Yeah. When you actually ground it into reality, you probably wouldn't pick that. Like, honestly, like if I were to pick in this context of like Star Wars, I'd probably get into like being more like a Boba Fett character or a Mandalorian character. Like that seems a bit more grounded and something that's feasible. But being a Jedi, I don't know. That seems a little bit like too much, and also somewhat hypocritical, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of. I mean, I love Star Wars, but I'm not a fan of like the whole Jedi. Like, if you actually read it, like not read it, but if you actually read into like the actual like, what are the requirements for it? It's like, this is a terrible lifestyle. Who would want to do this? Like, I wouldn't.
It's tough.
Or like, for example, like looking at videos of monks,
I guess,
doing really cool things. You're like, oh, that's so cool. They're like breaking, I don't know, they're breaking bricks with their nuts or something like that. But then when you actually look at their lifestyle, like, oh, you don't have like anything. You just do this all the time. Like, you can't get married. You can't have like children. Like, or I don't know. I mean, I don't want to speak out of turn. That's just my assumption. I had to research what being a monk, what it all entails. But like hyperbolically, it's kind of funny. Like, this is like my FYI, and this is like my venting camera, and that's like my listen, don't get on me. But yeah, I don't know. But what's my point? But yeah, it's weird. I'm going off, but that whole. But really, if you had the option, really, would you really do that? I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. They always say like, there's that saying like, the devil is better than the devil you don't know. Like,
can you explain that?
It's like like you might think it's bad, like not taking, like you let's say in the blue pill, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And you're like, oh, I want the red pill because I can't stand this here, but you might take the red pill and it's unknown. So not only could it be bad, but it's also unknown. So it's new and bad. Could be worse. So it's almost like, just better than evil,
Well, yeah, I do know a lot of people actually that, speaking of like jobs, or when they're in a position that they don't really like, I know a lot of people that had the same soul-sucking job for years.
I love how we talk about devil and we just immediately think of jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, like they have like the same like job for years that they hate, and I would just tell them, why don't you just find another job and quit and then work that job? But because that's like their norm, or that's like their consistent I guess means of income, or it's really hard to quit that job, even though they probably most likely hate it. And they would complain about it. And this is not just one person. This is like many people I know that had the same job, had the same, I guess you can call it, career, and they're not happy. And I would always suggest, why don't you search for another career? And they try, but they always end up going back to the same job because it's like their norm, or they're comfortable in the norm.
They're like envisioning their stability, things like that.
It's
like,
scary too.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that happens a lot. Definitely.
Let's turn it back to the Matrix. You gotta jump, but don't jump. If you actually have issues with that, don't jump.
Yeah. Don't get what's the thing with the vertigo? Remember? What's it where you're like at the edge and it's pulling you?
That whole sensation when I'm at an edge of something, I actually want to jump. It's kind of I've named. There's a name for it.
Yeah,
but
we talked about it on
an
episode.
Oh, I did have
something with the void, right?
Yeah, I did have a friend text me like, "You don't actually want to kill yourself." Like, no, I don't want to do that. Calm down.
Yeah.
But I looked it up.
Thank you for asking.
I looked it up, and that's a thing. It's like this weird pull towards an edge of something, which is really bizarre. I have no clue how far we're on with this thing, but wait, have you seen like the Book of Boba Fett or any of the Mandalorian?
I was on the second
shows?
season of Mandalorian, but you know what? I don't know. It's stupid to say, but like, you know, sometimes you see some articles and you just get turned off of like watching a show. I feel like that whole thing with like Gina Carano did really affect me on watching the show. Like, I didn't want to watch it anymore after I'm like, oh, this, you know.
Yeah, I think.
And then I was just like, oh man, I can't. Then they try to flip it on the main character, which is the Spanish actor.
Pedro
and
Pascal.
then it just ruined everything for me. I'm just like, oh.
For right now, Pedro Pascal can do no wrong in my eyes. You're playing some pretty cool characters. With the Game of Thrones character, didn't he play some mafia guy, cartel guy? Oh, I forgot. I'm drawing a blank.
Was it Narcos?
Yeah, he played Narcos. He's played some pretty good characters. He's really selective, and Mandalorian, he's pretty good. He can, if you can act with a helmet on, nobody can see your face. That's pretty impressive. Imagine acting, but you're pretty much acting with your body.
Yeah,
he's very little dialogue. I don't know what he does. I don't know how he does it, but whatever he does with his movement and his behavior, mannerisms, it's spot on.
Yeah, I feel like you have to be able to like envision yourself out of your body.
Yeah,
you know, kind of when you're doing that. This must be tough, you know.
Yeah, it's but yeah, the whole Gina Carano. I don't even know what she even said. Do you even know what she said?
She just was going off on like conspiracies and like, you know, just like super like, you know. I mean, I don't want to say certain things because then it makes me like it puts me on another side, you know, like
you don't want to repeat what she says.
But you know, it's just
look it up.
A lot of things that it's like you're really like pushing it, and then she just continues to push it, you know, like.
I mean, I do feel like, and I'm not saying, you know, I'm not encouraging censorship or anything like that, but I think it's important to acknowledge your you know, voice. Or how far your voice travels when it comes to social media. Like, I'm not saying I'm a nobody, but compared to Gina Carano, I'm nobody. Like, I don't have we don't have much of an audience. I mean, does it make sense? Like, we don't have.
I get what you're saying.
I don't have much sway on things. Like, I'm not Elon Musk, where he says he can text, I don't know, to the moon, or he can tweet, you know, I don't really like Bitcoin today, and it goes down. So. I think once you get to a place where you're, like a better word, a celebrity or a person that people really follow, I do think you need to be a bit more responsible and not just sharing. I don't know, do a little bit of research. I'm not really quite sure. I might look back on this episode and be like, sound like a hypocrite, but I'm not saying. I think if you're in a place where you have a voice, I think it's a little bit more important to be a bit more aware of what you're saying, and I don't know. I'm trying to be cautious, but explain something really, but I can't. I don't think I'm saying that really well.
That's where it goes like for me, because for her, like, sure, if she just fought and then that's it, like, I don't think people would be making such a big deal about what she's saying. Then. Not because she's an actress either, because I'm sure there's tons of actors saying ridiculous stuff, but when you sign on to be like the face of a like children's Disney show, I mean it spans all ages, but
it's Disney.
It's Disney, yeah. That's, you know, like, kids are watching this, you know what I mean? Then they're following your Twitter account, and then, you know, you're going off the rails on like QAnon theories and things. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, like, once you sign that deal to become that actor. you kind of give some stuff away with it, you know, as much as you want to like.
There's a give and take.
Yeah,
there's
for sure.
There's
like,
a give and take.
Get like some like not OnlyFans. I was gonna say OnlyFans. I'm sure some people would love
get
to see
an
her on there,
yeah.
but I mean like some kind of like paid subscription where you could like freely speak your mind and about that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
where people could subscribe.
You can start a podcast
where
and have a Patreon.
yeah, where like you're filtering out the little kids, you know, because you know it's just.
Well, I know for sure that they really try to vet their. The people that they hire this episode is just call it the train episode.
We're gonna work it into the logo of the
yeah. But I do know in Disney they do vet people a lot, or they try to vet people a lot. Sometimes successfully, sometimes no, and also I'm sure there's contracts on like, hey, like you need to do X, Y, and Z and ABC, and there's a give and take. Like, you know, even I, as a teacher, there are just certain things on this podcast I just don't talk about because, what do they call it? # don't get fired. Yeah. # don't get fired. So, you know, it's not like we're above that. Like, I'm the same thing. Like, there's just certain things I just don't talk about. Even if whether I agree with it or not agree with it. But just certain topics I just don't want to get into because things gonna be easily misconstrued or misinterpreted or whatever. But that's just, I don't know, being self-aware. I don't know. I don't think I'm being disingenuous, but I think it's just like, okay, this is not a topic we're going to talk about.
And then there's the thing about censorship too, and then it becomes like a gray area because then it's like no one's stopping you from saying it. They're just, YouTube's a private company. They don't want you saying it on their platform.
Yeah,
you know, and then the same thing with Twitter, and it's like these are like you're building your platform on a place that's not an open forum. You know, it's literally a business.
People forget that YouTube, which is what you're probably listening to right now, or watching, it's not public. This is not a public domain. This is private.
Yeah,
we're
with interests, you
know. So yeah, if they say, hey, we don't want you on this, you can't just say, well, freedom of speech, and like, well, that. No, I don't know.
That's not how it works.
I don't want to get into like laws, but like, no, that's not how that works. You can't just like, you know, just like you can't just.
I just feel like you just like turn their head away and like, you know, like push them off away the different direction. Like, no,
go over there. Or some people do this. They start their own type of forum or their own website that they can just freely talk about whatever they want to talk about,
and no one's trying to stop them of going there.
You can't. Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think I have told this to my students in the past. I know I do this every single episode where I talk about being a teacher, but this is important. Where I tell them, listen, I don't think you're bad for using profanity. I tell them, I don't even think you're bad for using vulgar language. Listen, that's you. However, in this environment, in my art classroom, we're not going to use that kind of speech. I'm not judging you, but it's important to know that in certain environments, there are acceptable behaviors and etiquette. And I would always example like, hey, one of my closest friends, Simon, I would go to his house or when he lived with his parents, and you have to take off your shoes. You took off your shoes, you put on slippers. That was just the norm. And if I didn't do that, you know, they wouldn't get mad at me, but they probably wouldn't invite me over again.
Yeah.
And it's just the same thing, like in certain environments or certain platforms, there are just certain things or etiquette that's just unacceptable. And, you know, and it's, you know, if you want to yell freedom of speech, you can go outside and yell whatever you want to yell.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But you can't just go on someone's platform that's private and tell them that I can just use your platform to share something that may or may not be true.
I think that's the gray area there. People forget, you know.
Yeah. But I always try my best to just not just splurge out just legit lies. And if I find something out that like I shared that was actually inaccurate, I try my best to like, hey, that thing that I said actually wasn't true. You know, just double check. I try my best to like make sure what I look up is actually like, you know, that's, you know, accurate. I don't want to spread disinformation.
Yeah.
But I have no clue how far we're along. We talked about the Matrix, though.
I think we're good on this one before we have no more freedom of speech on this platform.
Freedom of speech.
Before we lose our freedoms on this platform. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for checking us out. This is 2 episodes in the books from our return. And we're going to be trying out some new stuff. I know I mentioned to you about trying out the new setup with the live stream. I think that'll be really cool because the algorithm pushes live streaming. So
now I know that.
Yeah,
now I know
and
the algorithm.
With the live stream, we're gonna be able to cross promote, so we'd be able to like stream on Twitch and things like that, which is an avenue that we've never really tried. So yeah, I think that'll be something cool. And
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely, guys, click the subscribe button and the bell and leave some comments. And just let us know if there's anything you want us to talk about.
And this is, you think I'm joking? I legit want someone to meet their significant other on our comments. My goal is a person leaves a comment, someone else responds, and you hit it off. And I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years, you say, "Hey, I met my wife or husband in the comment section on your podcast, WordsrTough." I know that's a big goal, but that I don't know why. I'm somewhat romantic, but I want that to happen. We'll see.
I just see a jump forward into the future of us.
We'll see. I mean, 2, 3, 4 years, we have an audience of people. We do a live stream at a live audience, and
marrying those 2 people,
and a bunch. Yeah, why not? We'll marry somebody off, but you have to meet each other in the comments. Yeah. That's see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. And that has been episode 27. Thank you guys again for checking us out. My name is Jose Rodriguez.
David Diokendo.
And we are out.
Bye-bye.